Okay. All right, everybody. Good morning. I am Gina.
I'm Alicia.
And this is LATOF 411. As part of the Partnership for Economic Prosperity, we do economic development in Latah County, Idaho. We've developed this program to help show you some of the awesome parts of Latah County.
We're here to highlight businesses and business owners in our community.
So, without further ado, we've got Kyle O'Malley from Kamiak Coffee Company. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Tell us about yourself a little bit. No coffee yet. Tell us about you.
I like that. All right. So I feel like everybody always associates me with coffee. So a little bit about me, not related to coffee. I went to Washington State University, go Cougs. Grew up about 15 minutes north of Pullman, and just fell in love with this area. Right when I saw WCU's campus, I knew this would be my home. And ever since then, it's been more than a community to me, for more than just crimson and gray reasons, and great football weekends and all that good stuff. So I'm basically Palouse born and raised, and right now I'm just a 25-year-old entrepreneur navigating the world of 2020, which is kind of consuming and a challenge in of itself. Little fun, weird facts about me. I love the outdoors, love exercise, working out, and just living a simple lifestyle on the Palouse. Awesome. So nothing too complicated about me.
Yeah, I like the easy approach to life in general.
Yeah.
Alicia, Cougar. He's a Cougar. Oh! I'm not going to say anything about Vandals, okay? I'm just going to throw that out there.
Hey, as long as it's not purple and gold, so that's okay. We're totally fine.
Yeah, although we could always think Minnesota Vikings instead.
Yeah.
So tell me about how did you come about the coffee business? Tell me, what was that moment where you woke up and said, I got to do this?
Yeah, so a little bit of a rewind. My dad was a small business owner, and I think it's kind of in my DNA, so to speak, to want to do something like that. Ever since I was a little kid, I was on a job site with him, and seeing him work tirelessly day and night, well past the 9 to 5 hours to provide for my family. And at the same token, he was able to support my family in ways that you just wouldn't have been able to working a traditional career, in terms of time, energy, being able to go to every single sporting event, drive me to every single practice ever, without being a helicopter parent, but being an incredible dad. So I saw that growing up, and I think it was just something I woke up to really early on, is just the idea that if you can start something and do something on your own, that is the dream. That is the American dream to a T. There's nothing wrong with corporate America. I worked in corporate America right after graduating college. It was the best experience ever. I worked for an awesome local company on the Palouse, gained a ton of experience, but I used that experience to start a company. And how I got into the coffee industry in the first place, really ever since I was like 15. So crazy to think that was 10 years ago. I'm 25 now, which I know is young, but it feels old for a 25-year-old. But yeah, I got into coffee right when I was 15, and I realized it was the perfect product. I mean, one, there's a lot of low quality coffee in the world. In fact, a majority of the market is really, really poor quality. So in any business, you're solving a problem. It's like the number one goal. And I saw that as a really obvious problem, where it's like, it's pretty easy to 10x a product when everything else in the market, definitely in 2010, that I had experienced wasn't really something I was impressed with. And then I also realized that specialty coffee, which is kind of the industry I'm in, think of craft brewery just with coffee.
Sure.
I realized that it's the perfect actual product in that it has no age restriction, it has no dietary restrictions, it can be healthy. It's just the perfect product mix. People consume it every day, and it's a part of people's morning or daily ritual. When I was working the 9 to 5, which was really like a 8 to 7 p.m. some days, I needed that. I needed that part in my life, and it was my favorite part of my day. And I realized if I could create a product that 10x is the quality, that provides people that comfort, that joy in their life, and create a company that's worth investing time, energy, and emotion into, then I've won at life. And how I even got into coffee in the first place, I ended up working at a coffee roastery when I was basically 15, 16, learning how to roast, learning the ins and outs of the industry.
Oh, yeah.
And that's really what exposed me to it. And, it just came down to a simple, I saw an opportunity, I took it. That's kind of a really simple recipe to get more out of life is if you see something you want, get it. You can create whatever you need to in life, as simple and silly as it sounds. So that kind of really kicked it off. Went to college, got a degree in finance and entrepreneurship. The finance degree was out of practicality. Not gonna lie, it wasn't the most fun degree. The entrepreneurship degree kept me sane. That was the single best, and any future Coug listening to this, if you're in the business program, get another major in entrepreneurship because it's every business program in one. So you're learning marketing, accounting, finance, legal, social media, everything. So
I concur. That was my college degree too, is entrepreneurship at WSU.
And look how awesome we are.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's a long-winded answer, but that's kind of the synopsis of my last decade. Cougs, entrepreneurship, working 9 to 5, transitioning to this company, and here we are. So.
And taking that opportunity. That's beautiful.
I'm curious, since you're a Coug and Palouse raised, how did you start your company or why in Moscow?
Great question. One, nowadays you can start a company anywhere in the world. And let's look at the United States. This is an incredible community. Like I don't think people realize how amazing the Moscow Pullman area is to not only raise a family and to work at any institution or workplace, but also start a company. Very affordable, like just bottom line finance coming in. It's a really practical area. The warehouse we're in, for the price we pay, I mean, this would be tens of thousands in a major city.
Okay.
And then you're also looking at a flooded market, right? Tough to compete in. You're looking at higher wages, state to state challenges. Idaho was a little bit more willing for us. Logistically, it just made a little bit more sense to be here. We found a perfect building that literally was designed for what we had in mind. And then after just being here 4 years in college, I realized that I want to be an example for that young college student that may want to work in the Palouse for a few years and then start their own company. You don't have to graduate from WSU or U of I and then instantly move to Boise or Seattle or Portland or California. You can stay here. You can work for one of the many amazing companies on the Palouse and have an incredible lifestyle, a 5-minute commute everywhere.
Yes.
You could probably have a really affordable place too, and you can kind of figure out your early stages of life a little bit easier than some of the craziness going on in bigger cities.
Mm-hmm.
And in terms of just the business climate, it's really hard to find a community between Pullman and Moscow that have such proactive chamber of commerce, have such proactive city councils, have really clear plans of where they want to be. I mean, Pullman 2040 is a great example of where that city can be in just 2 decades.
Yeah.
And any potential entrepreneur, regardless of age, should be looking at that and thinking, not a bad idea. So there's just a lot of opportunity, and people love to help you here. We had real estate agents, we had accountants, lawyers. This interview, this is all a product of this area. There's a badge of pride by being on the Palouse, and that's just really hard to find, to be honest, anywhere else in the U.S. So that's why we're here. It's out of practicality and simple love of the area.
You're making me write down more things, more questions. We're going to have a 3-day interview, so just get comfortable. Maybe you need to call out for pizza or something later on. But so you have you brought up something that I think you said DNA earlier, and the entrepreneurial DNA. And my question is a long one here, but I'm asking about background and skills necessary, to be in business and that sort of thing. But I think it's even, you almost need the DNA to start with. You need to see the example to be able to envision. What's your thoughts on that? So you've got your WSU degree, you've got, finance, and I'm telling you that would be up there with a root canal as far as good for me. But that's why Alicia is in my life. She's wonderful. So you did, you got those educational skills, but you brought to the table some fairly important pieces as well. And pardon me?
The passion.
The passion.
Yeah, that's a really, really good question. Like you said, you need a baseline level of skill sets that you can learn. The number one advice I tell anybody that wants to start something is look at the numbers. Do the numbers make sense fiscally and on a market basis? Like, is there a fit wherever you want to go? So if you look at that raw metric, like the raw education, that's gonna at least improve your chances. It's not necessary, but again, we're starting anything or risking any life is mitigation. So how can we maximize the return, lower the risk, right? And everything you do to mitigate that risk, you're just improving your chances to succeed, and when most businesses don't. So in terms of the DNA though, it was just taught to me at such a young age, by my dad. The words he used in terms of being able to control your life, own something, really tangibly do something, whether you're improving the world or bettering a product or both, or a mixture of different things, being able to support your family. It's not necessarily a requirement, but it certainly helps to have a little bit of personality to be willing to put yourself out there into that discomfort zone day after day after day. And then also be able to come back and focus on what will move the needle most. Even if it's going to suck, how can I get it done? And honestly, business is 99% doing things you probably don't want to do in order to eventually do things that you'll get to do. So I think right now there's this huge glorification of entrepreneurship. Actually, it's probably winding down, but in the early days of social media between like 2013, 2018, it was hustle, grind, get after it. Entrepreneurship kicks butt. Screw your 9 to 5. And cool. But none of that will be able to sustain you as an entrepreneur past the honeymoon phase. So you need to have that maturity going into it. You need to, if you were not raised in an entrepreneurial family like most weren't, reach out to people that own businesses and talk to them. Talk about their emotional state, talk about their financial state, the sacrifices they make and have made, what lessons and very expensive lessons that have they had to pay for, what wins did they have? Do they have any wins? Are you trading an 80-hour or a 40-hour work week for an 80-hour work week? But do you enjoy the extra 40? So there's a lot of dichotomies there. And hopefully I answered your question, but that was an excellent point.
I just think it's very clear. You are modeling everything you've said, and it's fun to listen to you actually enunciate it. And the whole concept of the emotional side of an entrepreneur, we could write a whole nother program on. That's an interesting, and it's kind of that lonely walk, but it's a pretty good one. So, All right, Alicia, off you go.
So you mentioned that you've recently, how long have you been in business? How many years? And what was the hardest thing to get started?
Well, I graduated in 2017, was at WSU for 4 years, didn't do a fifth year victory lap, but I worked in the real world for a little over a year. And during that time, that's basically when the idea for this company started. And around this summer, fall of 2017 was when this potential started to form. By winter, my business partner and good friend and fraternity brother met at WSU, Grant Shaneline. We came together and thought that this could be a viable idea. And by February, we had a lease signed, and by June 1st of 2018, we were in our building, remodeling it, getting it ready for launching. We launched in October of that year, and started officially selling product that we truly believed in since October of 2018. So we're approaching 2 years.
Wow.
And hardest thing is just starting. It's kind of like a marathon or a hike or a workout or just doing something you don't want to do. The hardest part is just getting over the mental hurdle of taking that first step. And once you do, every single day, you're going to have to take that first step. But the biggest one is going to be that leap that you take in the beginning. And then I would say another good leap about a year and a half in, when it's looking like, okay, how is this forming? Is this profitable? Do we have runway? Does this pay for itself on a simple operational basis? Is this worth doing? And so you have all those different checkpoints throughout the life of a company as its own being. And just the hardest part was probably starting, for sure. And if anybody, that was one thing my dad always taught me, was if you just start, you're already 95% further than anybody around you. And that's definitely true to this day.
Yeah. So you're talking about checkpoints. Let's throw in the ultimate checkpoint, COVID-19.
Yeah.
How are you surviving it? How are you adjusting? What's different about how you do business now as a result?
Well, if you asked us what our plans were for 2020 in January, they were a bit different than June 26th.
Yes.
Right now, things pretty dry to well up on our end on the wholesale side. So part of our company is kind of two divisions, B2B and B2C. B2B being wholesale to cafes, hospitals, restaurants, nonprofits, churches, anybody with bulk coffee needs, we provide them that product. Okay. We have a ton of great local offices we work with, cafes, all that good stuff, hopefully universities. And that was kind of the bread and butter of the company for the first year. And then B2C direct via e-commerce through our website, KamiakCoffeeCo.com. It was kind of the cherry on top. That's kind of how we treat it. It was, the money is there for wholesale. If e-commerce sales come in, great. It's not our focus. And that was last year in the first year of starting the company. Now in January, one of the goals we kind of had for 2020 was growing that. So in January, we updated our website, started investing more into it, started looking at SEO, simple analytical tools, starting to up our social media game, all those things. Then all of a sudden COVID hits. And it's like, well, thankfully we were already building that up a little bit.
Right.
And basically, most of our energy now is expended on marketing and being able to focus on ensuring our company is still being put out there. I believe it was Tony Robbins. He kind of has a philosophy where when it's economic winter, meaning when things are really slow and honestly just suck, a recession, a global pandemic, civil unrest. We have a lot going on, a lot of winters.
All of those.
When things are not great, the companies that succeed are the ones that don't slow down on the sales and marketing aspects, the maneuvers that move the needle forward. And so in March, our online sales really took off, I think in part to people just wanting to support us, but we also adapted to the marketplace. We offered new value. We looked at ourselves and said, what else can we do? How can we get our product into the hands of people faster and easier? How can we sell that to them? How can we market that to them? How can we provide them our value as easily as possible so they clearly are willing to pay for it, especially when dollars are getting shorter and shorter?
Yeah.
And so we brought on a marketing manager for social media and PR. I would say 80% of our time when we're not doing production, like fulfillment and roasting, or brewing coffee for ourselves, we are like 100% in on marketing.
Good.
And that goes into the back end of a website. And I'm talking like HTML code, which is stuff that we had to teach ourselves, all the way in looking into the insight, looking at our audiences, doing targeted ads, doing A/B testing, working with Shopify, it's never been easier to start something online with the tools available today. So it's like, thank God that, things like Shopify exist. They should be paying me for this, hopefully, but thank God those entities exist, because it's seriously, it's never been easier to have a product and ship it to Florida and it can arrive in somebody's doorstep in 2 to 3 days. Like, we have that ability as a company in Moscow.
Yeah.
We're not tied to the local market. And, the big thing that we're doing right now is, one, supporting the local market by doing free local deliveries and doing awesome stuff like that, interacting with the people that love our product, but also pushing the e-commerce side. So whether you're in North Dakota or Florida or New York and you're stuck in quarantine, we can still get you amazing product that's crafted right here in the Pacific Northwest. So that's kind of how we adapted, and it's for the better. I've honestly, I haven't been happier with the things that we've been able to do, and it keeps things interesting. It keeps me hungry because I know what is about to crest, and I know the target is in sight for growth, and it's not just incremental single-digit growth. You're looking at potential double-digit growth. And that's just really exhilarating. And COVID also cut the things that you don't really want to do. It's like, let's get back to our roots. Let's cut out the noise and let's focus on the things that we really enjoy doing. So, yeah.
Yeah. All right. I could go on talking to you for, again, a couple days. I want to start our last question to you to be a positive one and not COVID related, because I feel like we are consistently mired in it regularly. So again, Kamiak Coffee Company.org, co.org.
.com.
Okay, say it to me again so it's clear.
All right, KamiakCoffeeCo.com is our website.
Okay, KamiakCoffeeCo.org. .com. KamiakCoffeeCo.com, for heaven's sakes.
Yes.
Okay, good. And so they can find you out there. Do you have a local presence as well?
Yeah. So if you're not in the local area, you can order our coffee like that online. It takes about 30 seconds to find your favorite coffee. We ship anywhere in the U.S. It will be roasted the day you order, shipped the day you order, and arrive anywhere in the United States within 3 business days or less. Most are 2 or 1 day. So we're faster than Amazon in some cases. So go us. And thank you, United States Postal Service. And then if you're local, we're at a number of amazing partners. If you're in Pullman, we're at Dismore's, Cafe Moro, Zeppo's, Birch and Barley. If you're in Moscow, Cafe Artista, the Moscow Food Co-op, they're an amazing partner of ours.
Yes.
Gritman Medical Center, NRS, if you're one of those warriors that works there. MZ, a super exciting, incredible company in Moscow.
Indeed.
We're at churches, Resonate, Venture Church, all sorts of good stuff. So if you're looking for us in a grocery store, though, Dismore's is an incredible partner in Pullman, and the Moscow Food Co-op is an amazing partner here in Moscow.
So closing, again, this is Latah 411. I am Gina, and Alicia is my partner in crime. We have completely enjoyed Kyle O'Malley from Kamiak Coffee Company.
Yeah.
10 seconds. What's your number one advice for someone wanting to start a business in Latah County?
Oh, gosh.
I'll give you 15 seconds if you need it.
Okay. Reach out to people in the area that own businesses, that work in city council, and work for the Chamber of Commerce's. Do those three things, ask them how they can help you and how you can help them, and you will be significantly further ahead than most people in other cities, because we have a great local leadership.
How you make me want to start a business.
Well,
right.
I mean, the Palouse has got to grow somehow.